Well, thanks for joining me, folks. So this is your host, ID Jester. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you've downloaded my little mini campaign that I created that have linking scenarios together here. And this, of course, was for Tigers on the Hunt with the new expansion pack, Kursk. So this one here, I've decided to call Operation Marlet, which is the Fontenay-Le Pesel village. Hopefully, I'm saying that, probably Americanizing some of these words, so apologize for that. Anyways, the scenario that I have set up for you guys, this linking scenarios, is basically a big battle that happened, and I've kind of separated into several different scenarios. In fact, if you go down to the very bottom of this file, you'll see that we actually have some web pages that you can look at to find out more information about this battle. And here's one of the websites right there. Gives you some detailed information about some of the people that were actually there and talked about some of the things that happened. So hopefully you'll be able to check these out. Anyways, what I decided to do was, instead of creating one big massive scenario that incorporates all the fighting that happened, what I basically did was I separated that into three different scenarios that are going to link together. So let me show you how that works. In the first scenario, you're going to actually just, of course, you should only be playing as the British side here, and you're going to set up your units as normal here. And your goal here is to just take over these two fortified building locations that the German owns. This is basically the outline of the before the village. It's kind of their their guards protecting entrance and into and out of the village, which is located down here to the south. As you can see, all of that is non-playable hexes, so you're just going to have to deal with this little quadrant here. You're going to have 6 turns to try and accomplish your objectives, of course, trying to take over both of those fortified positions. When you finish this scenario, what you should do is you should try to record the position of your units such as this. Either take a screenshot of it or write them down on a piece of paper. And what we're going to be doing is setting up units in the same hex locations for the next start of the next scenario. So with scenario 2 we'll start. You can see we have a leader and a half squad in here. We have a squad and a mortar here. We got some broken units, but broken units don't qualify because they're going to be taken off the front lines, and new units are going to have to be brought in. We have some leader over here with a medium machine gun and a squad over there. We've got a squad here. We got a leader and a couple squads here and another squad here. So what you're going to do is just either, like I said, take a screenshot, write down the information about where those units are, and then you're going to take scenario number 2, and I'll show you that here in just a second. And now we're in scenario number 2, and what you're going to do is you're just going to take the units here that are part of your order of battle, and you're going to position those in the same hexes that your units were in that ended the last scenario. So if it's a half squad, they can be replaced by either a full squad or a half squad. It doesn't matter. If you want to be exact, keep the exact same squads in, that's fine. But we had a squad and a mortar team over there. We don't have to replace it with exactly the same thing, because obviously some units are going to be pulled off the front lines and be replaced by other units, or they're going to get different equipment, or they're going to lose some equipment or whatever. So just because I had a squad and a mortar team here doesn't mean I have to replace it that way, unless that's the way you want to do it. I could just use a squad and a light machine gun, or I could use a half squad and a medium machine gun. But basically, I'm going to just fill in all of the squads that were unbroken into the positions here in the setup hexes. We had some squads here. We had a squad here. We had one in the forest here. We had a couple up here. And you're just going to use all of the squads here, find which ones you want to use, and position them in your ending position from scenario number 1. Any other new units basically have to come in as reinforcements. And what you're going to do is you're going to set them up either on or adjacent to the road hexes coming in, because basically they're coming down the road as reinforcements. So on or in the first 4 hexes, uh, on or adjacent to the road. So obviously it's going to take them a little bit of time to get down to the front lines, where your job now is to actually assault the village and try and take over these 3 positions. We have one over here on the right-hand side, we have one here in between these sets of buildings, and we have one over here on the left-hand side. So your job is to take your units, and within your allotted time, I believe this scenario is 8 turns long, you're going to try and take over these 3 positions. Now again, remember, when you're trying to end scenario 1, you want to try and end the scenario as best you can to help you get into starting scenario number 2, and you're going to do the same thing when you end scenario 2. You want to be positioned for scenario number 3. So let's load that one up and take a quick look at that. All right, so here's scenario number 3. You can see up here at the top, this is all out of play now. You're now working on the middle section of the board here. And again, you're going to do the same thing. Any AFVs or units that you have that were unbroken or not destroyed during scenario number 2, you're going to reposition those on in your hexes here for the start of scenario number 3. Scenario number 3 is basically going to be a counterattack by the Germans who are coming up here from the river to retake over those positions that you have taken. Hopefully you got all 3 of those positions, because you're going to have quite a force coming up to try and re-secure these positions. So again, what you're going to do is just mark down or record where your units were at the end of scenario number 2, any unbroken unit or AFV. You're going to then position your new reinforcements in those hexes. And once you've done that, any other reinforcement that's going to come in is going to come in on the very top line here. So the north edge, any one of these hexes, you can bring in all your other reinforcements. And of course, then your job is to come down and help secure these locations from whatever units you actually had lived through the end of scenario number 2 for the German counterattack. At the end, what you're going to do is you're going to calculate up how many victory points you had for each of your different scenarios, and then based upon your total, you're going to get a victory total here. So if you ended up with just 0 or 1 point, you had a major loss. 2 or 3 points, you had a minor loss. If you had 4 points, you had a tie. If you had a total of 5 or 6 points, you had a minor victory, and a major victory is 7 or 8 points. So remember, scenario number 1 is 2 points, scenario number 2 is 3 points, and scenario number 3 is 3 points as well. So that totals up to 8 points. So you want to try and get as many points as you can for each of the different scenarios. And basically, instead of just creating one huge massive scenario that would take quite a while, many turns, plus reinforcements coming in and stuff, I decided to separate it into 3 very manageable scenarios that you can use that link them together with the same units in the same positions to help progress from one scenario to the next. And then instead of winning or losing based upon one scenario, you win or lose based upon all 3 of the scenarios and how well you did. Let me know your thoughts and comments, and if you enjoyed this linking scenario, leave some posts on the Matrix Games forums. I'm usually there quite a bit and reading all of the posts, so I'd like to hear what your thoughts and opinions of this are. If you are watching this in February of 2017, I have not yet quite finished all of the scenarios and uploaded them yet. So if you're watching this video during that time, you might have to just wait until I get the scenarios uploaded. But hopefully you came here because you actually downloaded the scenarios and are currently hopefully going to be playing them. So again, scenario number 3, Germans are going to be coming up from across the river here, and they're going to try and take these positions back that you had secured, hopefully, in scenario number 2. So instead of having a big, huge map with many, many units and reinforcements and everything, I decided to break it up into smaller, piecey parts and link these scenarios together, and hopefully it'll turn out well for everyone. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.